Urgent Home Reaction. This is the most hated movie ever. My channel Critical Drinker. Yes, I already saw the Critical Drinker video on New Captain America. Isn't that great? Yeah. Everything's going to shit apparently. Sometimes I wonder, is this am I looking at one side of picture and like that side always says everything's going to shit? But then again, I'm finding a lot of channel that says that, so it can't be that, right? I'm a very scientific guy. I like, I always try to find biases if there is any, right? I feel like, or I like to think that I'm very good at, finding biases. But is this bias? Because even I have like watching movies, like what the fuck is this? I'm like, only one I can think of is Daredevil, right? Daredevil was great in that, like, was it Marvel or was it not Marvel thing? But now it's like incorporated into Marvel. Like there was Daredevil, there was Punisher and all that shit, right? And Punisher was fine as well, but Daredevil was really good. I think they're making another one, right? Like now Disney themselves is doing that, and I think Disney Plus or whatever. So Marvel themselves are doing that. I'm hoping that's going to be good. Who knows? I guess we'll see. But yeah, a lot of things are just going to drain, right? Shit is just weird. It's like they're missing the core element. They're trying to focus on like shit around it, and they're forgetting the core element, which is the problem, right? And people are always like, oh, you're just doing that because like you don't like this type of thing, or like this kind of like political message. It's not just that. Okay, there is some element of that, but it's just not that, right? The core element is missing. If you can make a good movie and then if you sprinkle your message around it, people are not gonna bitch about it at that level. You're making shit movies, like of course people are gonna bitch about it. So yeah, that's why this one. Remember people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. The more engagement this video gets, the more, that way I'll know what type of videos to react to more. Like my reaction channel genre is, there is not one specific thing. If you've been watching my channel, you know, like I watched many different, like I started with history, but since then, like history, science, video games, geopolitics, anything that's going on, like, anything that I would watch, I'm basically reacting to. That's what this channel is. Where the more engagement, like a video gets, the more type of that video I'll react to it. Comment down if you want to do any specific video, and let's go with this one. Snow White, right? There was something about the actress. I think that's what this is going to be, right? I'm pretty sure that was controversial. What the fuck? That is like 4% positive, right? 40,000. Yeah, if there were 100,000, it would be like 10% of a million some shit. But compared to the dislike, it's like 4% of that. Is there anything more dislike than this shit?
You did it! Congratulations! Great job, everybody! It's great to meet you.
You know, I have to admit that I didn't think it was possible. The skeptic in me said it could never be done, and yet somehow Snow White always finds a way to subvert my expectations. That's right, just a couple of days ago, the official's trailer for Snow White passed the epic milestone of 1 million dislikes. And with a grand total of 40,000 upvotes, that gives it a ratio of 96% dislikes, becoming officially the most hated movie trailer in all of YouTube history.
Trailer? Is this movie still not out? Because people have been bitching about this movie for a long time. What happened to the days when, like, okay, trailer happens and like very soon in few months a movie releases? Are we talking about it in years in advance now?
History.
It's actually, I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
I mean, they always said this movie was going to break records, and life has a funny way of delivering when you least expect it. Honestly, I'm actually just amazed that 40,000 people took a look at this and thought to themselves, yeah, this is definitely enriching the art of modern cinema. Can't wait to shell out a couple of $100 to see this with the family. Tell me, what aspect of this movie are you most excited about? Is it the nightmarish monstrosities in vaguely humanoid form that can't seem to decide if they want to be hyper-stylized, exaggerated
Okay, why did they use Gal Gadot as the, whatever, the mother figure? Am I the fairest of them all? No, it's Snow White. Gal Gadot, the whole thing of her, why she became famous in the first place, not her acting abilities. It's because who she was. Model. This is one of the most like liked and beautiful or whatever you want to fucking call it people out there. That's why she became famous in the first place. Using her as the antagonist, who's apparently not prettier than the Snow White, and Snow White is some new actress like that. Like Who's doing the act? Like what is it called? Casting. Who's doing the casting at this point? I have no problem with the actress. Fine, you can choose her, but like choose someone equivalent where you can say, oh, she's not fairer than her, or whatever the fuck the dialogue is. I don't even know what message they're giving out. The beauty is inside of them all. Is that the message? But I'm pretty sure that wasn't the plot of Snow White.
Cartoons or photorealistic humans with dwarfism, and instead chose some unholy melding of the two that makes you question your decision to have functioning eyeballs. Is it the tediously predictable princess who saves herself trope that's been used and abused harder than Movie Bob's local buffet restaurant? Is it the least believable pairing in cinema history that sees this woman being jealous of this woman's theoretical beauty? Is it the film's star who somehow managed to fight her way to the very top to take the crown as the most insufferable actor in Hollywood, beating off some pretty stiff competition, I might add?
Yeah, where'd that come from? Well, I don't remember Martin Luther King Jr. going out and like talking down to people. Gandhi didn't do that shit. Gandhi was like, oh, if you slap in my one cheek, I'll bring the other cheek forward type of message. How did the message turn into like, okay, there is like gender inequality. Okay, so I'm gonna be like, snarky and like just an a-hole. And surely people will get on my side. You are trying to get other side in your side, right? There is no middle adjudicator, whatever you want to call it. There's no, in the world, like, okay, you win, now you get all the perks. That's not the shit. If men run the world, you're trying to appease the men, like, okay, this is not fair. I think we need some fairness. You don't do that by pissing them off. Like, this is just common sense at this point.
Yes.
Or is it perhaps the complete destruction of everything the original movie and the fairy tale it was based on was supposed to represent? So many decisions. Living in this little YouTube bubble like we do, it's easy to forget that a lot of what we talk about here doesn't really cross over into mainstream awareness. The Ray movies ditched its lead writer for like the 5th time? Who cares? General audiences won't even be aware of little dramas like that. Generic Hollywood...
Wait a minute, is that a Ray movie? Look, man, I have a problem with Ray. It's the writing was just shit. The trilogy, like, it's fine. Years from now, people will say, like, I guess it's fine. Because even the prequels got it hate. So it's not bad. It just felt like the original trilogy is like copy-paste type of shit. Right? In the end, that's what that was. And, Ray was fine. So I'm guessing, like, Ray movie, if done right, is going to be, like, fine as well. I don't think people will be pissed off at that. But, like, yeah, that's where, like, they're failing. Right? Like, writers change. Like, okay, there's already no hope for that shit then.
Celebrity number 4271 had a meltdown on social media about the Orange Man for like the 5th time this week. So what? Most people in the real world won't know or care about any of it. But Snow White seems to be a very different beast.
Oh my god, I'm a billionaire, but I'm worried about all the like immigrants that he gets shipped back. Like, okay, what is your crying going to do about it? Orange Men. A lot of agency he shut off, right? Like that aid agency. Okay, how about you take your $1 billion, $500 million you give to aid? Well, there you go, do that shit. No, you're not gonna do that. So what the fuck? What is this crying shit?
Beast. It might just be one of those rare cases that makes the leap from lolcow internet drama into the real world, with actual real world repercussions at the box office. I mean, if 1 million people took a look at that YouTube trailer and decided they hated it, imagine how many millions more are just gonna quietly ignore.
YouTube is also not a niche type of place, by the way. YouTube is basically Google for video. Everybody's on YouTube. There's a reason. But all the streaming services can be there, but they have to put some shit on YouTube, whether some clip or a trailer or so even like a half a episode of shit, just to get popularity to go. And then in the end, it's a Paramount Plus, a Disney Plus, Prime Video, Netflix, because YouTube is the video platform. That's what it is. So YouTube isn't even some niche thing where like people just hated it. It doesn't matter because it's like specific place. No, YouTube might as well be the world, right? There was a time where men dominated YouTube. It's still the case today, but like there are lots of women there as well. If you see the gender demographic, it's no longer the case. Everybody's on YouTube nowadays.
Or the film and never watch it. I'll be honest here, I don't think I've ever seen such antagonism towards a film in my life. Jesus, even The Marvels, arguably the most disastrous flop in MCU history, headed up by one of the most wildly unpopular characters in the entire franchise, still managed to scrape together a 54% positive rating on the trailer.
But then again, it only got a 500,000 impressions, or whatever you want to call it. is there is saying in industry, any publicity is like good publicity. It doesn't matter like which, either you're polarized or what. Is it bad? Is it good? If somebody's talking about it, it's good. But then again, maybe it's not so good when it comes to product. If people hate you, doesn't mean they're gonna go watch your movie now. That's not good for you. That only applies to a person's fame. If fame is your goal, any publicity could be good publicity. But if your goal is to people spending their money watching your shit, you don't want that to be bad.
Cleopatra, truly the worst of the worst, the ridiculous Netflix pseudo-documentary that asked us to ignore facts, verified historical records and simple common sense in favour of massaging the ego of the show's executive producer.
I remember my grandmother saying to me, I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Still managed to get
What the fuck was that? My grandmother told me, fuck Isaac Newton. There is no gravity. Sun isn't in the center of things, is earth. Because my grandmother told me, like, I don't get, it's all about my feelings. What is this world we living in? As a science guy, this really worries me. This pisses me off. What the fuck? Somebody needs to do something. Like, science need better, like, like promoters. There needs to be people in power who protect science at this point, because I'm literally afraid of this. We don't want to go into that world because that circle image, shit is bad, then it becomes worse and gets better, and then it becomes really good and goes back to slowly decaying again. I feel like we're at that phase. And that starts with science dying. If people are like, I don't care about facts and science, it's about my feeling. I guess if you have too much money in leisure, you're going to be thinking like that. Yeah, we're all fucked if that's the case.
get away with a meager 93% dislike ratio. Snow White really is a next level disaster for Disney, and honestly, short of scrapping the entire project and just taking the tax write-off, I can't even think of a way they could pull this one back and save face. They've already delayed the film by more than a year, probably praying that the controversies would die down while they desperately scramble to rewrite and reshoot it into something that doesn't make the audience want to gouge their own eyes out with a rusty spoon. They put Rachel Zegler on the apology tour to try and soften her public image, and she used every ounce of her acting ability to pretend.
As soon as this shit is sitting there like that, you can feel that arrogance. Is it in the eyes? Is it in the face? What is it? Like, you feel it, right? Like, it's not just me. As soon as I saw that, I just feel it. Look at that. Look at that face. Condescending, right? Like, it's just like, I know better than you. Shut the fuck up. What is that face? There is I'm not saying people are not like that. Probably most celebrities are like that. But they learn to hide it. Why didn't nobody taught her how to hide it?
And that she really liked and respected the original movie, and that she wasn't just an obnoxious, abrasive, self-absorbed arsehole. None of it worked, and so here we are, staring down the barrel of Snow White's release date, which is barely 7 weeks away. The board's been set, the pieces are in place, and it's about time to play
Stop
the game.
tilting your head,
and
man.
something tells me it's not going to be an enjoyable one for Disney. It will be for us, though.
It's Hollywood, baby.
Anyway,
Yep, there you go. Look, man, kid's gonna be kid. She's a kid. I really don't hold anything against her, right? I mean, she's been fed things. She'll absorb certain things, and she's thinking this way, and it's influenced most of the time. So if she was adult, like 30, 40 years old, and she was thinking like that, I'm like, what an asshole. But right now, I don't care that much. But in the overall picture, what is the people at Disney doing? It is their job to make sure shit. Like, I don't get like bending down towards certain small group of people who are too vocal, who loud. Why is Disney people so moronic that they don't realize this is like very small group of people, and that doesn't represent the audiences that they have? Most people who watches their Marvel shit are the people who play D&D and have Warhammer 40k fantasy and shit like that, right? Like, and apparently there's a lot of them since how much money that made. You don't need to play to this shit, right? I get it, this is a Disney thing, but same people who are gonna watch this. I don't know, man. Like, you need to cater to your audience at this point, right? What happened to capitalism, where they think about only business? Quarterly, like who makes what money? Why are you not thinking about that and getting into politics? I don't get it. It's entertainment. It's business. It's about money. Don't think about politics. Well, you're ruining everything, man. It's your money that you're ruining. What the fuck are you doing? Well, that was the most hated movie ever, Snow White, apparently. As a critical drinker, I still don't get it. Like Gal Gadot, right? She's jealous of her. It's not about like color or anything. Like, You could have gotten some model or something with the same color type against Gal Gadot, and people are like, it's fine. This doesn't make sense. She's not a model like Gal Gadot is. Like, what message is there? All right, I'll see you next time.